versus, of course, Team Weast Coast, team number 2. I will be solo casting this here as my co-caster Glios, as you all know, has come down with a bit of a sickness and is off to the doctors in the morning, so he cannot be here. So I ask that you bear with me while we go through the cast. If there is a moment of silence, it is simply me taking a drink or taking a breather. However, I do welcome you, of course, and after game number 2 here, we will be doing that mouse giveaway, which is of that CM Storm Spawn mouse. So without further ado, let's get these teams locked and loaded and get the show on the road. Now, either of these teams I have not seen played. We have not cast them before. This will be the first time that we get to see them. However, Team West Coast does have 1 victory with 1 loss. And Omnibus has 2 wins. So, one team will be 3-0 at the end of this, and the other, well, could be facing an utter defeat. As we have the picks and bans coming on in here. Let's get everything all set. And of course, I do welcome you to the game here. So we do see already Yasuo being taken out very strong with that wind wall. No one wants to actually go up against him just because if that wind wall comes out at the clutch moment, it's going to stop disengages, it's going to stop engages. It's such a disruption, and they're making sure that Yasuo is not being played. Twitch also falling into favor recently. Due to his change, we are seeing Jungle Twitch come on back. A lot more play coming out of him. So they're decided, let's not deal with an invisible guy. Same thing with Evelyn. You know, one of those things, invisibility is so strong right now because of the rework to wards in general that no one wants to see Twitch. And especially with Spray and Pray being a 7-second use where you rock attack speed and start spraying and praying in that backline. Huge damage that can come out here. They don't want to deal with it. As well as Udyr being banned out. He and Trick2G making a big name for him. And, you know, the tanky initiation, burst damage that comes on of Udyr, no one wants to go against. LeBlanc also being focused out, as she's the dominant force in the mid lane with that capability to blow up her lane opponent at 6 and keep them down, or go, of course, into other lanes and do the same thing. Nocturne with that global ability to gap close and start any fight he wants to. That paranoia in the middle of a team fight. You're sitting there in lane, all of a sudden he's diving to that back line, and things are happening. Braum also being taken out here. Interesting choice, as if you wanted to target out support, you have someone like Thresh, who's god tier. You have Leona, who is incredibly good as well. They chose to target out Braum, probably because they have seen Omnibus playing him a lot, and maybe don't know how to counter him per se. First pick coming out there is going to be that Lucian, who top 3 ADCs, Lucian, Jinx, and then arguably who the last one is. Sivir still kind of falling into a good realm, but Lucian being picked up here nonetheless. Very safe ADC, able to do a lot of harass in the laning phase. Then we are going to see Vi being picked up. Very interesting to see her not banned out, as that's something you don't see too often, her making it on through. As well as, of course, that Renekton. Now, every time we've seen so far in the Pulsefire Gaming LCS here, Renekton, if he's picked, has won. Whatever team Renekton is on, he has a 100% win rate in the LCS. He's so strong in top, and not a lot of people know how to deal with him because of his harass, his tankiness, the initiation that he gets, and at 6, that dive capability if he dwindles you down in lane. We also are going to see Pantheon being picked up in the jungle. He's got that global presence, similar to how Nocturne is run. He's able to start that Grand Skyfall, jump anywhere in the map within reason, since they did nerf that range, but dive right to the back line, find that ADC, drop the stun, use the Heartseeker, reducing armor, whatever he has, Lizard Elder if he's doing true damage, armor penetration if he gets Black Cleaver, and a huge disruption, eventually bringing it into that mid game where he's going to get very tanky and be a complete disruption. You also are going to see that Morgana, who has fallen vastly into favor in the bot lane due to the fact that so many teams are running CC. Just CC everywhere. Your top laner, your jungler, your mid laner, your support even has CC. What better way to break that than with a shield that is black, and that of course removes all CC or stops CC from happening. So if that Vi chooses to go on in with the assault and battery, got it me. The Morgana simply drops the black shield on whoever is being focused, and that whole fight is then disengaged. Ziggs being picked up here for Team Weast Coast, as well as Soraka. Soraka coming back after months and months and arguably years of being beaten down as a support, staying out of the game. She's coming on back. The reason being she's got that Star Call, reducing magic resist all the time. It is up on a basically 5-second cooldown, 3 seconds late game, and it's just constant. Once she gets the Rylai's as well, she's slowing an entire team. She's got the armor buff, the magic resist buff, a global heal. Lots of potential coming back with Soraka, and especially with the recent change to where the lower HP and the more AP, then the more that heal is going to give. Of course, the armor not being changed around at all, and that's completely understandable because that's the most broken part about Soraka. And Ziggs in the mid lane is going to be picked up because of his clear potential. So if a team chooses to go crazy push heavy, no one is better than clearing other than Gragas and Ziggs. That would be the old Gragas, but Ziggs throws down the satchel, throws down his minefield, as well as the Q, that deadly bomb that chunks people down time after time after time. And no one clears better, arguably. Now you're also going to see that Shyvana being picked up, going up against the Renekton in the top lane. And this is where it's a skill/level matchup. Early on, Renekton is going to bully Shyvana. Shyvana at level 3 can bully back Renekton. Shyvana just needs to utilize the burnout with the true damage, or the extra magic damage coming out of the Twin Fang. And of course, her Armor Shred E that procs with the burnout. Very nice addition to her kit. A little bit of a rework on it. And then we're going to see that Kayle, who has that armor and magic resist shred as long as she's auto-attacking. She turns on the Righteous Fury from a distance, sits in the back, swinging it away, chunk, 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 and the whole team isn't going to have armor and magic resist, which means that when Pantheon goes in, Shyvana goes in, Morgana with the Soul Shackles goes in, lots of damage in every direction, magic and physical, is going to be dished on out. Finally, Fantasies locking it up for Team Weast Coast, picking up the Caitlyn. Very safe ADC, has the longest base range out of any ADC in League of Legends, which means she can sit in the lane and constantly poke on down. She's going to have the Soraka for the mana regeneration. That's nonstop Piltover Peacemakers all the time, and easily can push down that bottom turret very quick. If Vi chooses to start at blue, red, gank top, come on down bottom immediately after, they're able to push that lane down, take the tower, and they can begin a snowball if they choose to. Now, Team West Coast overall has initiation, they have tank, they got CC, heals, they have it all on that team. However, Anubis Moitis, same thing. Pantheon Shyvana for the initiation, Morgana with snare and CC, Kayle with slow, and Lucian with the damage. Both teams, when it comes to a team fight, are going to be all-out brawls. Headbutt versus headbutt, and whoever's skull is the thickest is going to end up being successful here. Now, we are on that 3-minute delay. Do have about 2 minutes left. This is to prevent any ghosting. This is one feature that League put in here, and it is a fantastic feature. Of course, I do welcome all of you. This is Pulsefire Gaming's LCS-style tournament. This is week number 2. These two teams both fighting for the opportunity to get into the finals here. They are racking up points over the next 2 weeks, including this week, so 3 weeks in total. Currently, Anubis Moitis 2-0, Team West Coast 1-1. So both, one is fighting for that 3-0 spot, one is fighting for that 2-1. Of course, you can find all the information for the Pulsefire Gaming Quarter 2 LCS down listed below. Feel free to check that out, as well as if you do me a favor, and if you enjoy so far what we've done, and of course at the end of the game, hit the follow button and tell your friends, because at the end of game number 2, there will be a mouse giveaway. So bear with me while I get everything all set. We'll just turn on some music and wait for the champions and everybody to load on in. Alright, as we load on into the game here, what the unanimous vote almost indefinitely was that Anubis Modus, or Omnibus Modus, depending on how you want to say it, will be the victor here. Now, can that stand true as we see pings already being coming on out? Blue team rushing on down. Looks like they could be going for that invade. There's the aggressive pings. Something that you don't see very often is the invade going on through. The reason being the change to invade and that first blood money a lot less. But it's well worth it if you can burn a flash. And then we're going to see Don't LY is going to get engaged on, standing there not paying attention. First blood is going to get picked up by Goats Remo. That Lucian, and there's a free invade as we see the counter pings coming on out, going down to Anubis Modus's blue buff, or red buff. However, that is warded, so they do see they're making that rotation here. Will Team West Coast be able to pick the red buff, or are they going to lose their life trying? There's that ward, and of course, lots of pings going down. Everyone knows that it's about to be a brawl. There's Fansite taking the front. Back pings coming out now as Team West Coast choosing to back away from this. It is okay already. That first blood was picked up. No summoners were used, so everybody still rocking that full summoner spell package. However, that rework to Trinket, you can just see how powerful it is. It is so strong in the fact that now it's a 30-second delay between putting down your Trinket ward, which is so crucial for those early game invades. The reason we weren't seeing it before is people would have to pick up a ward to get aggressive. And no one wants to spend the extra 75 gold to get a ward that early. Well, Riot changed it up, gave you that Trinket, and now we're going to see plays like that coming out. So currently the lead going to Omnibus Modus, but can they hold it? As we take a look at all the lanes, we did talk about top lane already. Both these guys just going to bully each other out early. It's going to be very back and forth. And in bottom, any trades that go down from Goats Romo, even though he did pick up that first blood and extra money. He did not go back, so he's not going to have that benefit per se, other than the experience that he did gain. And we see Fansight's doing a great job, along with Fantasies, constantly poking down in bottom. They are going against that Morgana Lucian. They don't have any sustain. Soraka Caitlyn can sit in that lane as long as they want, due to the fact that they have the heal. There's Reptilian Phantom going in onto Do Not LY. Or I don't LY. But again, these two gonna be bashing butts and head knocking all day long in that top lane. We see it is Kayle and that Ziggs duking it out in mid. Both very pokey. Ziggs able to long range poke down the Kayle. However, the heal that is going to be coming out will keep her in that lane until she runs out of mana. That will be the deciding factor. Both junglers finishing up their buffs and finally choosing to go and make their ganks. Vi starting up at the double golems, while Pantheon making that rotation up to that Renekton in top. Does he see it? He has the ward. But Pantheon's going on in. The slice and dice is going to disengage up in the top lane as Kayle farming it out, waiting for the Righteous Fury, as that's the easiest way to farm. You get 1 point in that right in the beginning, lasts 8 seconds, and then you have a 2-second delay before you can cast it again, giving you the range and extra damage. There's the pings coming down saying that it's warded, and in bottom, it is very pokey as well as in mid. Every lane farming it out, doing their job, and also making sure that their lane opponent does not go unscathed. Every time somebody comes on in, there was the flash coming out from Pantheon, trying to make something happen, did not get close enough. Very aggressive play, so that Daxorus is going to now have no flash, as Fansights and Fantasies doing Fansights and Fansight doing a great job. Then we are going to see Kayle get engaged on. Heal is going to get burned. That is Summoner spell healed down now. And in mid, that is a very scary thing. You still have flashes, Kayle. You still have your own heal. When you use that bait skill, that heal as a get out of jail free, as a save my rumpus room, you now know that Ziggs is going to be able to push that tower down, farm up those waves, and that's going to put Kayle behind, which is going to give Ziggs that 6 just a little bit faster. So if he tries to burst down Kayle before she can pick up that ultimate to protect herself, he could be looking at killing that lane. Now, even though that first blood was picked up by Modus, they have tied the gold back up for Team West Coast. The constant harass in bottom is given just a little bit of a CS lead, as well as that Ziggs farming it out. Every lane just a little bit ahead in farm, and this is why early game is crucial in the aspect that you want to get farm, you want to get your money to get your core items. But at what cost? If you're going to blow all your summoner spells to pick up a first blood and then show up into lane and die over and over again, not worth it. Both these teams, again, trying to play very passive, farm it on out, and there's Pantheon. Sees the ward going down there. Can he get the gank in? There is no Warden River. There's Got Me going very aggressive. There's the stun, and the binding is not going to land, as we're going to see Fansight getting engaged on, but that is going to be a back away, as the Morgana Snare did not land on the Caitlyn. So very close if it did, and there's Manway going in onto Luxura in the mid lane. But these two just bullying each other out. Ziggs has the Chalice now. He's got the mana regeneration. Kayle with the double Doran's Ring. Her only mana regen is base stats, and of course, if she gets last hits. Now, if she turns on the Righteous Fury and continues to get the last hits, she is going to gain more mana back than when she loses for using it. That's why you will simply get double Doran's Ring into a Nashor's Tooth, something aggressive after that point. Some people go straight into Death Cap. Very, very scary. Something we're going to have to keep an eye out on. But Ziggs got the Chalice. He's going to stay in that lane indefinitely. That 1% mana missing, based on how much mana is gone, is going to give him mana regeneration up the wazoo. Simply going to sit in that lane and farm it out. And there's the two duking it out in top. Shyvana doing a lot of damage on her Renekton. There's the ultimate coming out from Shyvana. Don't lie. Running away using his ult as well. Forced to stay alive, instead chooses to mount his little podium. That lifeguard, he's guarding his own life. And chooses to go on home here. And there we see just Shyvana. She went back early. She's got a lot of damage on Renekton, but Renekton coming back with a big buy, picking up the longsword, getting the Doran's Blade, the boots, so he's going to have mobility to either engage or disengage. And of course, with that teleport, he's not going to miss any of that experience, as you see here. One of the biggest things in top lane is battling over experience. When can you push the lane down to force your lane opponent back? It's not necessarily when you can kill them. Because if you can force them back and they miss a wave or 2 waves of experience, you get a huge advantage. As Reptilian Phantom going on Don't Lie. Very scary from Renekton. Does not have that ultimate, so he doesn't have the extra HP pool. He does have Flash. There we see Shyvana does have Flash as well, so if something gets crazy, hopefully there is no dive. One of the things you don't want to do is dive, but there's that Pantheon ultimate, the Grand Skyfall coming on in to slow the Flash away. Can he get close enough? He stuns right on top of the Satchel Charge. He does try to burst over the wall. He cannot make it. Instead, uses Summoner Heal. And Luxria running away as Vi shows up to save the day. There they see the damage getting turned around on a Pantheon. The Assault Battery is going to lock him down. And Luxria is going to pick up a red buff off of the Pantheon here, forcing Manway to run away. Spirit's going in onto the tower, but does not want to as Spirit's getting very low. There's Manway using heal as well. Will red buff do it? It does not. Very close engage. Great job from Pantheon to try and start the fight, but of course, that map awareness from the Vi showing up in the nick of time, turning a fight around. Fantastic play. Fantastic. So that is going to turn the gold around now. 11,000 to 10,000. Simply just a very small difference. The difference of a Giant's belt on somebody. Not very much, however. All it takes is one victory here, one victory there. It's a quick and slippery slope from that point on. As we see, Caitlyn and Soraka have yet to back, staying very safe in this lane. Soraka, with the mana regeneration, just able to constantly lay down heals. And Caitlyn, of course, if she's not getting poked out of lane, the only thing she's got to worry about is mana. Oh wait, Soraka as well. So neither one of them needing to go back. Caitlyn sitting on a whole mess load of money. If you see 2,200, she's going to go back and get some very fancy items. Hopefully, it's before she ends up biting the bullet. No pun intended. Now, I do see that bottom try is getting warded once again. However, in bot lane, one of those things, if you're going up against a Pantheon, wards necessarily aren't going to save your life. Grand Skyfall from anywhere in River, anywhere at that back tower, or tier 2 tower, can be channeled up, and then a fight started, as well as Soul Shackles. That brings a lot of CC, potentially a lot of damage to the bot lane. They need to be very careful down there. As we see, Daxtrius trying to make something happen in mid, but Luxria not biting on the bait. Kale's putting out some fish, however, Ziggs isn't hungry. Once again, in these top lanes, we see that Renekton going for that Brutalizer. However, Shyvana showing the domination that she has up there, using the burnout, simple auto attacks, and has the Cutlass, so she's got the sustain to stay in that lane. And of course, she's bringing the pain. I won't rhyme any more than that. As you see, there's that Star Call comes out. Soraka utilizing the great point that she has that Spell Thief's Blade, or Spell Thief's Edge, so that she can just engage on, but there's Don't Lie! Who is gonna get stunned? Can he get his ultimate off in time? There he goes! But Reptilian Phantom, with the auto attack and the Cutlass proc, will turn that into a kill for him in the top lane, and could be a tower. As we see Spirits trying to rotate up there, trying to hold on it down. There's Manway engaging onto Luxria in the mid, and there's nothing that Ziggs can do. He does not have the ability to stay in there. He needs to long-range farm. Otherwise, he's going to get dove on. That Kayle has the ability to dive underneath towers because she can just use that ultimate. Don't Lie coming back into top. There's Morgana with the snare and a Soul Shackle as the tower is going to be able to do some damage. There's the counter stun and Kayle showing up. Soraka forced to flash away, but Kayle with that movement speed and counter flash, as well as the spell shield, should be able to pick up the kill. Can she get close enough? She's trying. She's waiting on the movement speed. The minions with the block and fan sight, plus fan sights with the Caitlyn trap, as well as a beautiful flash, and simply right-clicking away is finally going to send this deadly duo back on home with a bunch of money to spend. There we see the BF Sword, the Vamp Scepter, and Boots being picked up by Caitlyn, and this is a great time to start the dragon. However, there's the Ziggs ultimate doing a little bit of poke onto Daxtrius, but Reptilian Phantom showing up, tanking down onto the dragon. Can they do anything? Do they want to do anything? They do try to snipe it away. Very close try, and try you should, however, not going to be enough. There we see Modus picking up the dragon and trying to come back, staying very positive, and as you look, 2-1 the kills are, so they're feeling very confident. And don't have any towers down by either team, but after picking up that dragon, it just goes to show that they are striking fear into Team West Coast, who does not want to engage. But it also shows they're smart, so it was a 2v5. And they chose to just poke it down rather than trying to dive on in there. There's Fansites going in onto Goats. But there's the ultimate coming down from Pantheon in the back. He is a little out of position as he's going to get poked down. Dexter is so very low as he's holding battery coming down. There's a kill ultimate. Will he be able to run away as Spirits is getting engaged down from Manway? He does turn it around for a kill. Going down for 2 now. Will Luxrio be able to run away? Can he do the damage? He does use the explosive Statchel. Bomb of Death does not hit. So very close. Yet close only counts in horseshoes and hand grenades. And we see Phantom diving in onto Luxrio. There's a Statchel charge. Beautiful disengage. However, Reptilian Phantom already used the Cutlass. Does flash on in. One more auto attack. Picks up the kill. Fluff with that score. 2-0 and 1 now on this dragon in top lane. Renekton, no answers to the call of duty so far. He is pushing down onto that top tower to try and get his team something. And there we see I Don't Lie picking up that top tower. However, mid will fall, so it makes it a simple trade. 1-2-1, tying the gold up here, even though that score looks so very different. Great job, though, from Ziggs. Gotta say, props out to him for a nice Astro Charge to try and disengage. Did use the flash from Shyvana now, so no summoners on that dragon as Renekton begins that assault into top lane here. However, he is very scared. You can see this Renekton not wanting to leave, trying to farm on up, trying to stay ahead or catch back up because of the lane dominance that Shyvana had there. We see Fansites and Fansite doing what they do best. Poke, 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 heal, and sustain. The culling coming on out, just trying to clear the minions as the body block is going to stop those minions from dying. And Caitlyn will begin to poke down the tower. They should be able to take it on the next push as Lucian needs to run away or head on home. But will Pantheon try for the Grand Skyfall? Got about 10 seconds left till it is able to be channeled. There's the Kayle going down. Can they see it? Do they see it? There's the Grand Skyfall, and the binding is not going to land. Morgana with the Soul Shackles. Fansite's gonna flash away as Kayle comes in. It's a 5-man gank down on the bottom. There's the slow. Fansite's taking incredibly low. He is gonna die to that crit execute from Pantheon as the teleport does get canceled from Renekton. He's gonna continue to push on the top, and there's Reptilian Phantom, who should have gotten stopped on the back, instead goes on home. Spirits pushing down the mid lane. Lots of split push coming down out of Team West Coast. If Modus wants the 5-man gank bottom, that's exactly what they need to do. Team West Coast needs to split push. They need to push a mid. They need to push the top. They need to deny them of the experience of the farm and get it for themselves. Now we see the binding coming from Morgana. She's trying to do the damage. She's going for that Seeker's Arm Guard into that Hourglass so that during teamfight phase, she's able to run in there, get very low, bait everyone into trying to kill her, pop the Hourglass, Soul Shackles, Echoes, and then that fight can get turned around for her team. That's exactly what they need to do. I'm seeing Manway picking up that second blue buff, has the Stinger, has the Phoenix Codex, so he's got the cooldown. Always going to have that Righteous Fury up once he gets 35% CDR. He's working on it there. Double Doran's Ring as well is going to give him that sustain in the lane, the mana regeneration, so that he can heal himself. We do see Lucian finishing up the Bloodthirster, as well as Caitlyn finishing up the Bloodthirster. Neither one in bottom, though, finishing out that tier 2 boots, both moving at that 350 base movement speed. Incredibly slow, but it is okay. And there's that ward going to get spotted away from Manway. That ward has been there all game, finally choosing to pick up some bonus gold. As you see Renekton picking up the Ninja Tabby, a good buy, stopping Shyvana's auto attacks. However, Shyvana does mainly magic damage. What you want to do going up against her is build that HP up very early, get HP, bully her down, run strictly off of base stats to try and early fight shy. Didn't happen, but that is okay. He's making up for it now. He's turning into that tanky alligator that his team needs him to be. That tanky frontline initiation brawler to protect Caitlyn and Ziggs. I see Morgana making a little bit of a move into mid lane, trying to relieve some of the pressure that Luxria is doing on that mid lane. Kayle getting poked down. She can't heal herself. She doesn't have enough Astral Blessing to heal up all that damage. And this is where, as stated, Ziggs wave clear. All he's got to do, auto attack the mage minions once, throw the bomb on down, clears them away. There we see there's 4 members now onto the mid lane. Manway getting engaged on is not going to pop his ultimate in time and will fall. Luxria with a great play on the poke combined with Piltover Peacemaker on Caitlyn, and they turn that into a kill. There we see Shyvana rotating from top lane now. Lucian still bottom. Is there going to be an answer? Can Modus protect onto this mid tower? They are trying here. There we see Smites coming out, the Heartseeker Strike, the stun going down onto Spirits. Damage is not going to be there as Fansight will use the heal. Fansight, though, is going to get engaged on with the Dark Binding. Shyvana going on and using the blade. Goes and dives on in, picks up the 1 kill. There's the Soul Shackle coming out. Gatma is going to lock down onto Fansight. That is a double kill being picked up from Reptilian Phantom. That binding will not land, and a counter push is going to be coming out of Modus here. A great engage from them, very smart. They said, we're getting pushed. That binding landed onto Caitlyn. As soon as that happened, it was turnaround. All guns blazing to the races, and Reptilian Phantom saw the opportunity to dive on in there and did a great job in doing so. That dragon is going to get picked up here. Modus in control of the game right now. They are turning plays around. They're making things happen. They're baiting Team Weast Coast into an engage that they necessarily don't want to fight. And it's a very smart play. Meanwhile, that whole time Renekton pushed into the top, and he's should be doing some damage on that turret. If we take a look, every time that he's been up there, he's got minion wave upon minion wave that he's able to push, and Shyvana has been leaving. Yet there's been no push for that top tower as Fansight is going to get engaged on and kind of baited in there. There's the Ziggs ultimate that is going to be coming in. Does not land. Kayle will ult this time, making sure that she's going to be safe. And Manway gonna choose to back on out. There's the ultimate down. About 70-second cooldown until that will be back up here. So she needs to be very careful, but she does have that stinger. And of course, them attack speed boots, those Berserker Greaves, she's gonna go absolutely crazy with attack speed. And that means more damage. Of course, with Kayle, the Nashor's Tooth giving you the additional damage based off of your AP. And she already has Righteous Fury, which takes AP and AD. So they're able to do a lot from that Kayle. However, we see that Caitlyn and Soraka, they have no reason to be bottom, so they've changed it and decided to push up mid lane. Both of these teams coming to the early mid game stage. They could be grouping on up and pushing, or continuing to stay in the lane phase, depending on how much they want to push onto these side lanes. Top tower is already down, bottom tower is already down for Modus, which means Team West Coast, they control what's really going to happen. Even though Modus has the kills, they have a little bit of the stigma behind them that they're stronger because of what those stats say, but we are going to see Don't Lie is going to pop the ultimate on Renekton as Luxria is going to get engaged on. There's a culling coming out now. Lots of damage going on to Luxria. The flash is going to disengage. Great job, but there's a counter flash from Robo, who is going to walk right into Spirits. Luxria is going to die, or not die. He is going to be safe as Remo needs to run away. Spirits flashing away from the Soul Shackles as Caitlyn trying to lock it down, getting the vision. The flash and Fansights will kill Goats. Remo as Reptilian now shows up from the top lane. Too little, too late. And that was just a ward bait. All it was, a fight that happened. Kayle was clearing out wards. Pantheon saw the opportunity to go onto Luxria, who used the summoner heal, saved himself. Soraka with the global heal, as well as her Astral Blessing. Just out of nowhere, it seemed like Ziggs was going to die. Baited on in, turned the fight around. We saw the Soul Shackles coming out, was not enough as it only caught onto Spirits. And Remo got very aggressive, tried to flash into there and flashed, well, right into a Vibe Power Fist, which was not good, as Fansights with a nice 90 caliber net is going to disengage that. Very, very scary as the Grand Skyfall coming on. Fansights is going to get bursted down, and Reptilian Phantom will be able to rack up the kill, as now Daxrius trying to back away, and Spirits very low from that. Somebody has to stop this Shyvana. She is to the point where she is a monster. Not only is she a dragon, but she's very, very strong right now. She has that Blade of the Rune King. she has the Sunfire Cape. She's able to dive into that backline, take next to no damage, heal up, and burst somebody out all in one. Very, very scary. Ziggs tried to use the Mega Inferno Bomb to steal away the blue buff. Was not enough. Close, but no, Sakar. The blind pop shot does mean that is now on a big, big cooldown. But Ziggs, only a few hundred away from picking up that death cap. He is working for it. 3-1 with 174 farm. Dominating over the Kale. But Kale 1-3 with 150 herself. Not too bad. Could be going for Wits End, maybe a Hurricane with the recurve bow and dagger pickup. We are seeing that Lucian does have the Sheen now with his boots, so he's able to put down tons of damage, use a skill, double auto attack, use that Sheen proc, another skill, double auto attack, use the Sheen proc. Morgana, very close, of course, to that Hourglass, 0-0-4, running that great game. And then last, but definitely not least, that Pantheon, who has the Lizard Elder, but is very, very squishy. He does not have any HP pool on him, so when he dives to that backline, a quick focus means that he can drop, and should drop very fast. But Renekton, of course, looking at his items, has that Randuin's Omen, so he's going to be able to initiate on there, slow everybody's movement speed and attack speed as we see Spirits going in on a Daxtrius, and he's a little bit out of position, but not a lot of damage coming out as Soraka will heal that on up as Spirits pushing onto the top lane, but there's the engage from Spirits, who does get dark binded. Chooses to back on away. Vi with the Lizard Elder and that Sunfire Cape, so she's going to go in, do a ton of splash damage with the Power Fist, able to splash behind, proccing the true damage off the Lizard Elder. We're going to see that Kaylin, who has attack speed, going for that Phantom Dancer, it looks like, as that second item, has that Bloodthirster, looking for the attack speed to get those headshot procs more, and of course that critical chance to do a ton more damage. And then last but not least, that Soraka, who's got a lot of health. Could be going for that next Sightstone, could be going Locket, who knows. She has a lot of options with building the double health crystal here, and it makes her very tanky. And here we see everyone grouping up now into the mid lane. Team Weast Coast, they are trying. They are grouping on up. They want to make something happen here. As Renekton begins that split push in the top lane. There we see Daxtrius going to face check. Does he actually want to do that? Face checking versus 4 members is not a very good idea. Very scared here as Reptilian Phantom trying to dive on in, split up this team. There's a Renekton coming at him, but Fansite is going to get stunned down and bursted. Is it going to be enough? There's the Ziggs ultimate, the flash out of Fansite is going to disengage this fight. That's Ziggs all down. And of course Soraka all down. 2 big ultimates that they don't have to worry about now. There's Dragon getting engaged on. There's a binding onto Luxria. They're in a very sticky situation as Spirits dives into Anaromo, but there's Reptilian focusing out in the backline. Spirits is going to get taken down. Reptilian is exhausted. There's the Dragon getting picked up from Modus. Can they do it? Renekton showing up. I don't lie. Picking up 1, trying for 2. Can't do it. But Luxria with the flash over. Very aggressive. Does not lock it down as he's going to get stunned and countered on. Goats Remo as well as Daxtrius with a great turnaround play, and Reptilian Phantom with a little bit of poke. This is one thing that you can't do. That was a very, very aggressive play with no ward coverage. He did not know where the enemy team went, and a turnaround stun. All it takes is 2 seconds, and you pick up the kill. There we see that mid tower is going to get pushed down now. Fansite's using the heal. Oh, but there's the ultimate coming down now from the Pantheon in the backline. Phantom showing on up, just being super tanky. The nice flash from Fansites is going to make sure that he gets stunned over the wall. But Soraka, Fansite, is going to drop his Daxtrius, looking for a kill himself as Caitlyn runs on away. So very, very close there. And there's the Mega Inferno Bomb going on to Goats, and he's going to get sniped. Blink and you miss it, lights out. Good night, whatever you want to call it. He went out in a blaze of glory as he just got taken down from the snipe cheesy Mega Inferno Bomb. This is why you can't get caught window shopping. If you get caught window shopping, people are gonna know. People are gonna kill you. And just like that, things just as quick happen. Boom, you're dead. I do see that is the Runon's Hurricane being picked up from Kale. Very interesting purchase, but she's rocking all attack speed. She's rocking the procs too. She's going on in there, making sure that when she's using the Righteous Fury, it hits as many people as possible so that she can do as much damage as possible. Very smart play as long as her front line can continue to do what they do. And Shyvana, of course, doing a great job of being that tanky front line, as well as Pantheon, who slowly is getting some more resistances, but does again have that very, very small HP pool, so he's incredibly squishy still. We see everyone just farming it out. Renekton back in that top lane, just fluffing that minion score, 225, leading the game right now. And just getting his items, trying to catch back up to an acceptable level where he feels strong enough. And we are going to be entering into that mid-game stage where Ziggs can constantly clear. You have Caitlyn, a simple Piltover Peacemaker, and Ziggs Q clears out the entire minion wave. It is gone. So it's very easy for Team West Coast, if they pick off a kill or two, to push down tower after tower. Now, Shyvana does have that teleport if a fight is to break out in the mid lane. As well as Renekton, who can also teleport on in. Lots of wards to teleport to, if action does need to be had. Can't have him there. We see Daxrius going down in with the stun, with Spirits and the Flash Soul Shackle, as well as the Hourglass. Spirits is going to be forced to flash away. There's the Ziggs ultimate, not going to land on anybody. Spirits is going to get taken down from Manway as they continue the assault here. Ping's going down around the Baron as Caitlyn was not there for the fight. A quick play from the aggressive Pantheon here as Manway is going to get engaged on, taken to about half HP. And this is something where if Kate gets vision, she can poke on over the wall. They do have the Ziggs who can lay down the poke as well at the Baron pit. There's Daxrius getting very low here. Reptilian Phantom beginning the tank. Daxrius is going to be forced to back away. And a good job from Team West Coast to stop the Baron attempt. Now that's one of those things, it's very scary to start a Baron attempt with as a counter Baron. Looks like it's going to be coming to Team West Coast. Both these teams not knowing exactly what they want to do. Try to do the Baron, try to run on away, not too sure. Oh, but there's the engage from Manway going on to Fansite, trying to burn out the heal. There's the global heal coming on out. So very low on everyone's side. As you see Shyvana pushing down onto that bottom tower. Gonna go for the free tower kill. As Team West Coast pushing onto the mid tower now. They should be able to get it with Shyvana bottom. And the other two members that did just back, instead they choose to all back away, not knowing exactly where they are. But a great play, nonetheless, from Modus to start the fight, pick up the Kale on Spirits. That's a dead jungler. That means no smite that they have to worry about. The downside is you still have to deal with Caitlyn's long range and constant Piltover Peacemaker harass, as well as Ziggs harass. One of those things, if you do Baron, you need to stand very far away from the wall, opposite side, the farthest distance possible, or you're going to get poked out. That's also where Ziggs and Caitlyn need to be taken before a push can even happen. If they pick off a Renekton, or if they pick off Fansite, if they pick off Spirits again, but still leave Luxria and Fantasy or Fansites, they're going to be able to clear non-stop and make sure that nothing ends up happening. But there we're going to see Fansite is very, very out there all by her little lonesome. This unicorn being very aggressive with that ward coverage, does not want to get ward baited. Nobody wants to get ward baited. They're waiting for that dragon to come on up. 1 second, there it is. It is live. And this will be yet another dragon that is going to get picked up for Modus in this game. I do believe this is dragon number 3. They're racking up the gold, racking up the points, and there's the engage coming in from the Pantheon, jumping on him, but the nice Delta charge is going to rock that on away. That is Grand Skyfall now that is going to be burned. As we see Shyvana looping around, there's the flash shot on Luxria, who is going to get taken down with a nice flash as well. Fansite getting bursted out here. Daxtrius is going to be forced to go away as I don't lie with the teleport. And the turnaround. Does Spirits get the lockdown? He does on Manway with the stand aside on everybody. Gami is forced to soul shackles, waited on in, and he is stunned. Cannot do anything as Fansites has to run away. Reptilian Phantom in the middle of everything. Spirits is going to get taken down from Manway as the assault continuing out of Team Weast Coast. I don't lie, forced to flash away, but Manway with the Runon's Hurricane cannot pick up the kill as Caitlyn, that Fansites with a shutdown onto Kale. Somebody needed to end that spree. And this is now where they still have the two pushers. They can push down onto the tower, and Goats Romo getting taken very low. The Piltover Peacemaker will not make peace, will not pick up the kill, as Reptilian Phantom is forced on away here. There's Fansites tanking onto the tower. They are going to take it. That makes that whole team fight worth it. Remember, in games, you want to win a team fight and push objectives. It's not all about kills. You could have 100 kills in a game but still lose, because when it all boils down to it, that little crystal back in your base is the highest priority that you have. So great job from Team Weast Coast picking up the fight, starting that push, and Goats Remo got very aggressive, stepped out, took the stature charge, and the minefield was bursted down, forced to go away, which gave Fantasies, Fansite, and Luxria that ability to push down that mid tower. Now the next big objective that are going to be focused over here is going to be Baron, and of course towers in general. One of those things that towers, once they're down forever. Baron is going to respawn. So either team could go for the Baron, and a turnaround counter push could come on out. We've seen that happen here in the Pulsefire Gaming LCS. We've seen some crazy plays. People rush for a Baron, all of a sudden your inhibitor goes down, and now the whole game changes. You're stuck playing defense as opposed to being offensive with the Baron buff. Now Renekton has a lot of armor, and for good reason. The only AP character they have is the Kale, and she's not going to be focusing out Renekton at all. As well as Vi, who's got a little bit of magic resist, some HP, and of course armor as well, and a ton of damage. She is that tanky frontline with Renekton that they need. As Ziggs, going for the Hourglass, has the Death Cap, has the Athenes, very low cooldowns on all of his spells, constantly harassing, as well as Caitlyn, who now has that Bloodthirster, Phantom Dancer, and Last Whisperer's Fansite is going to get a gauge on here. Using the heal, backing on away. And Morgana's Spell Shield is going to disengage everything there. That's where Spell Shield's so very strong. But there we see Reptilian Phantom walking on away. Pings everywhere. Two members of our top. Spirits is going to get a gauge on. However, the counter. There's the calling or the culling coming on out here. That's some big cooldowns now. That's the culling used. I thought they used Soraka heal. Guess not. They still have that on up here. So that's very good. Just everyone poking around in the jungle. Very interesting to choose as an engage spot. But there's four members here of Modus in the mid lane. The binding coming out, and Got Me is going to get engaged on here. Does use the flash as well as the Mercurius Crucible. But there's the Spell Shield coming out and the Hourglass. It is going to lock down Spirits, but not going to be enough as Got Me is going to pick up the... Spirits is going to drop Got Me. Now Soraka and Morgana both have that Mercurius Crucible to save their ADC if something is to happen. They have that cleanse, heal, movement speed buff, which is so very strong in a game full of CC and hard engage here. But there we see Spirits is going to get a gauge on. Manway is going to be trying to run away as Daxtrius is taken very low. There's the ultimate. Manway using the damage, using the Hurricane, trying to hit everybody he can as Daxtrius sacrifices Luxria, picking up the kill. An ace in the hole will put the ace in the hole as Fansites picks up the kill here onto Manway. No use of the ultimate, nothing that she's going to be able to do, and this is a free Baron to get picking up from Team Weast Coast. Reptilian is just going to push down onto the mid lane as Lucian knows that there's nothing he can do. So he was pushing bottom. But there's Reptilian Phantom wants to go on in there. Spirits is taken incredibly low. Reptilian Phantom with the dive on in does get binded. He's taking low, and Purple Team slays the Baron so very close from Reptilian as Fansights is going to be forced to flash away. Spirits cannot lock down because of that spell shield, so he's turning around and duking it out, but Got Me is going to drop here. Fansights picking up the kill. Very good job as he's going in now onto Reptilian Phantom. Chooses to back on away as Remo shows up to the mid lane. And a nice play from Team Weast Coast to not only pick up the Baron, but not lose anybody. And pick up a kill out of it. Very, very good job. This is where Team Weast Coast needs to go back, buy their items, and start that mid lane assault that they can do. Now, you guys did call it as a 40-minute game. It's turning out to be very close to that 40-minute mark. It may be right around that 40 to 45 minutes. Who knows? If you guys were right, kudos to you, as well as to everybody who said that Modus was going to be the victor. And early on, it looked that way. But a nice turnaround constantly. Back and forth, these fights really can swing either way. And Modus, yet again, attempting with another dragon as Spirits is stuck on out. It is just him. Zig showing up here with I Don't Lie as well, finally. As Reptilian pushes onto the top, this will be now a 2-2 dragon take for both teams, or a 3-2 dragon take for both teams. There's the culling coming on out, trying to pick it up, but Spirits with the nice smite will make sure that nothing crazy happens. As Reptilian pushes onto that top, does have the teleport, so he can split push as much as he wants. As Fansight's trying to go on up and stop him from that push. There we see. However, Reptilian Phantom can dive on in at any point, and we're going to see that pause coming on out. Somebody could be having, of course, those connection issues. And this is what we were talking about earlier. You know, bear with us while technical difficulties happen. People do have lives, and their mom and dad could be cutting out the internet who have no idea, or we have no idea what's going on here. But we do take a moment to remember and highlight some of the key plays. Barons being picked up here. Very good after an engage. All it took was 1 kill, snowballed into 2 kills, snowballed into 3 kills, then into the Baron and an additional kill. We've seen back and forth fights. Pantheon being very aggressive. That Daxrius diving in, stunning high priority targets, making fights happen, followed by Got Me with the soul shackles, with the dark binding, locking down targets. Both these teams very confident in their plays. The biggest threat on either team, Ziggs Caitlyn. There is no one biggest threat on Team Weast Coast. Ziggs and Caitlyn need to be dealt with immediately, if they can. Biggest threat on Modus, Shyvana. She's so tanky. She does so much damage. She is able to dive into the backline and 1v1 anybody right now. No one can stop her in a 1v1. This is something that really is going to make or break the team fight for Modus here. As you see, that pause does come on out. Everybody welcoming back to the game. And Baron buff still on Team Weast Coast. They need to make something happen here as we see Modus backing very far away into their base, begin hugging the tower. They do not want to be out there. They have a lot of ward coverage, so they can honestly see anywhere where they're coming. Take a look. Wards at blue. Wards over above wolves. You have wards at wraiths. You have wards at red. The only place that would possibly be an avenue of attack is waiting somewhere in river or just dead center, like around a wall. Very good defensive ward coverage that is being used from Modus right now. As we see everybody poking it on down, neither team wanting to go on in here. Just Team Weast Coast waiting for Renekton, that frontline initiator, to show up. Everybody clearing the waves, farming it on out. Everyone into that mid-game stage. They have their damage item. They have the defensive stat item. Now comes down to positioning, focus, or targeting focus, and of course, communication. Those are the biggest components in a team-based game such as League of Legends when you have your items. So of course we're going to see this bottom tower begin to get pushed because there's no point in pushing on mid lane. You might as well take one of the outers. more likely people are willing to give up an outer tower as opposed to one of those base turrets here. There's the clear coming out. Either team waiting for an engage, poking each other on down. No one wants to hard engage. We're going to let minions in that top lane push down onto Modus's top tower. See a little bit of a back off, trying to bait Modus into a push here. As Spirits and I Don't Lie sitting in the wings. Both teams laying it down as Fanside is going to get binded. They don't have any vision of that bush to know. And all it's going to take if they want to fight is a simple Grand Skyfall from Pantheon. Dive in to the backline. Lock down high priority targets. There was the Frostfang just being used from Soraka, trying to slow everybody down. There's the back pings. Oh, and there's the Grand Skyfall that is going to get initiated on Fanside taken, and it is not going to land as Reptilian Phantom with the Blade of the Rune King. Everyone engaging now. There's the Soul Shackles. Fanside is going to drop the nice Zigzag, landing on a 4. A Reptilian Phantom going on in, using the Mercurius Crucible, so he is incredibly fast. And Spirits is going to get focused out here. Luxury getting taken down from Manway. Manway with so much damage that Hourglass. Luxury is going to fall here. Shut down from I Got Me. But the whole time, look at the top lane. Renekton with the split push. I Don't Lie with the teleport top. Saw that the fight was about to happen. Got out of dodge as Fanside tries a 90 caliber net over the wall. Using the kite. Baiting him along. Can he do it? The Cupcake not going to land on anybody as Reptilian Phantom taken very low. Can he get the burst damage? No, he can't as Spirits is going to get binded here. Will he fall? Will he drop? Manway not able to dive on in as I Don't Lie going for this top inhibitor. A superb split push. Got the top tower. Got the base tower, and he's going for that inhibitor. There's the randoms and flash from Gout Romo. Very interesting. Can he get it? He does pick it up. He is going to pay with his life. Flashing on over, counter flash from Reptilian Phantom and the Randuins. This should be a very easy kill picked up for him. I Don't Lie, trying to juke, trying to bait it on out. There's the ultimate coming out of Reptilian Phantom. 6-0-6 now on this dragon. He is eating everybody alive like cookies. It is Girl Scout time, and he ordered a whole batch, box upon box. Is now being eaten on up here. He gets to enjoy his feast. Taking a look, Shyvana now going on back, has money, got the Banshee's Veil, has the Randuins, the Blade of the Rune King, and we just saw how tanky she is. She just dove into that backline and took next to no damage. And even with Caitlyn auto-attacking her, and Caitlyn, she's got the Bloodthirster, she's got the Last Whisper, so she's penetrating that armor, she's got the Phantom Dancer, so she's got critical chance, and the extra BF sword, so she's going to be doing damage. Interesting choice on the Quicksilver Sash. She's got to be scared of the Kale Slow, the Morgana Snare, or the Pantheon Stun. So quick use of that is going to break free. However, Mercurius Crucible is being picked up from Soraka. So interesting to see the additional pickup as opposed to some damage items on Caitlyn, such as getting the Infinity Edge or picking up a Zeal, even. Or not a Zeal, but a Static Shift, something to give her some more poke. Now Baron is up, Dragon is up, Daxrius going on in, trying to clear out the wards. They do see that one is in there. Dark Binding will not land. And we're just waiting on Team West Coast to show on up. They have I Don't Lie in top lane. They have Caitlyn coming from the mid lane. And everyone's doing that dance, going back and forth. Neither team wants to make that mistake. The downside, however, super minions in the top lane. If Team West Coast goes to mid and slow pushes, or goes to bottom and slow pushes, super minions will enter into the base of Modus. That's going to force somebody back, or minions will win the game for them. So everybody picking up, has the core items and beyond. Interesting choice to see from the Kale. She does have the Fiendish Codex built into Morello and Namicon. So anytime she auto-attacks, she's going to be doing reduced healing to everyone she hits. So that Soraka heal is not going to be as effective. There's the back off from Baron, and there we see Daxrius is going to get diving onto Spirits. Spirits taking about half HP, has got me with the Soul Shackles, isn't going to land onto anybody. And there's the Ziggs ultimate not landing onto anyone either, Reptilian Phantom, but the lockdown from Spirits, the flash away from Manway is not going to be enough. Spirits taking incredibly low as he's getting focused on Manway, using everything he has, but he's gonna drop the double kill being picked up from fan sites here. But we see Reptilian going on in and no one can stop him. He's a monster trying to run away now as everything turned around. Their mid tower did end up falling for Team West Coast, so Modus picked up some free money in that fight as they're continuing just the assault onto Goats Remo trying to run away. There's Fanside still going on in, baiting with the heal, but he's gonna get dropped down. Great 1v1 from Goats Remo to see that situation happening as I don't lie. Trying to get on over, can he do it? And there we see a counter tower being picked up. Great engage. That base tower falling right there, that Nexus tower makes that last totally worth it. Towers that are picked up from kills always balance out to be effective. And just as was stated, let those supers build up in top lane, start the fight, supers push on in, take a tower. Very good job. And are they going to be able to take bottom? As we see the culling coming on out here is going to stop them so very close. A mere 126 HP on that tower is going to mean one more push from minions. And that's going to drop. Now dragons do tie on up, 3 and 3 for each team. And even though the kills are in favor of Modus here, the gold by 3,000 is in favor of Team Weast Coast. And a big portion of that comes from those towers. Now if we take a look, 377 farm on Shyvana, 329 on Kale. Everyone's starting to cross those 300 marks as we see Ziggs and Caitlyn and Renekton all pushing it on over. And both these supports, they're trying to tie for the CS World Record, which is 25. So that's what they're going for here. No one wants to get any more of that, giving it to their carries, which is very smart. Anytime as a support that you can protect your carries and have them farm, makes it way worth, as opposed to you getting that one extra little item that you need. Now Spirit Visage was picked up from Soraka. She has the Crucible, she's got the Sightstone, and the cooldown boots, so her heals are going to come on out to herself and do a lot more, so she could be baiting. She also has the support with the Spell Thief's Blade, or Edge, to slow everybody down. Very solid kit in that Morgana, if she can get a nice ultimate. Every time so far she's caught Spirits, the only person in that Soul Shackle. If she can catch 2 to 3, then Modus can easily win one of these fights. There we see both these top laners now rotating onto bottom. Possible engages coming out. Teleport for Shyvana is up. Teleport for Renekton is up. And there's Flash down now for Goats Remo. Very interesting as I don't lie, forced to run on away. And this is where Team Weast Coast needs to make something happen. Shyvana is bottom. That is the biggest threat on Modus right now. Flash is down from Lucian. They need to poke down the mid and make something happen. But both teams very passive still, sitting back, farming it on out. 50-minute game approaching here. We are getting to the late game stages. Not many games get past that 60-minute mark, but this is one of those games where if everyone continues to play this way, it very well might be here. So back pings from Team Weast Coast. And Shyvana, interesting pickup. She has a Thornmail. Now, it's smart to see as there's only one magic damage dealer on Team Weast Coast, which is that Ziggs, as Fanside picks up the blue buff. Not necessarily something, but Soraka now with max cooldown reduction. And Shyvana has so much armor. I mean, take a look at the Shyvana's armor here. Insane amounts of armor. 342. That is an astronomical amount. Is everyone doing onto that Baron clear here? Caitlyn aggroing Baron onto Spirits. Just giving a little bit of love tap. No big deal. Baron's just saying hello. Everyone's sitting back, passively farming. I don't lie. Pushing up minion wave after minion wave. Has the Black Cleaver, the Sunfire Cape, the Randuin's. He's going for another armor item. Could be going for a Guardian Angel. Oh, as we see, there's no wards here from Modus onto the Baron. It is taken down very, very quickly. Will they be able to pick it up here? There's no rotation whatsoever from Modus. And there's Baron being picked up. A very nice ninja Baron. Too little, too late. As Modus now is going to be forced to play on that defensive here. Great job clearing out the wards, seeing that nobody was rotating when they're at Baron, and overall picking it up completely for free. We're seeing Caitlyn at that full build stage. The only thing she needs left are those upgraded Führer boots or Home Guard boots, depending on what she's looking for. I would recommend Führer in this situation because she's going to be going up against that Shyvana, so she needs to keep her distance. The Führer would allow her to keep that increased movement speed as she kites on back. And just take a look at their trinket spots. You have 3 ward trinkets and 2 sweeping lenses on Modus, and you have 4 sweepers on Weast Coast. Yet the whole map is lit up like a Christmas tree. There's wards everywhere. Everything in river. And a little bit either at Wraiths, a little bit at Wolves, at Red Buff is all being warded as I don't lie and engage on from Reptilian Phantom. And there's nothing that Lie can do. 100% there is nothing. He cannot fight this Shyvana. If he wants this tower though, he simply needs to just run around and go hit it. It's at 128 HP. It's at next to nothing, but there we see 4 members pushing onto the top. 4 Team West Coast, as I don't lie, pushing onto the bottom. Shyvana showing up. If there is a time to fight, it would be now. It is a 4v5. Engage, let that bottom tower fall and engage into top is what Modus should be doing here. It's now Team West Coast, or Weast Coast, beginning the assault onto that top inhibitor, poking everybody away. Caitlyn with a couple more auto attacks. There it is. The flash coming on in, and there's the Shyvana as well. The Hourglass is going to get burned very early. As we see the continuation of Reptilian Phantom going on, and Spirit's taking a whole lot of damage. Fansite is going to be forced to back away. As we see the teleport from Renekton showing on up. Fansite does have the assault and battery. Is he going to lock somebody down? Instead, they choose to back on away. A good inhibitor pickup. Nobody dying. As Ziggs fails to go on over the wall. Are they going to be able to engage on him using the slow? Good job to stop those Home Guard boots from making anything happen. But there's the Grand Skyfall going on in here. Daxrius a little bit out of position, but there's Reptilian Phantom going on in now. There's the stun on to Spirits. Spirits taking incredibly low, trying to dive into the backline, gets down onto Ghost Romo, but he's going to get focused out by 5 members. As now we see I Don't Lie that is trying to tank up all the damage because Vi is down. But there's the stun and the turnaround from Luxria. Caitlyn and Ziggs still alive, but Ghost Romo with a double kill. Very nice snipe on Fansite, who stepped up a little too close. As we see a counter push now coming out with Fire, Fury, Flames. Trying to get down onto this mid tower, trying to get something happen. There's the Home Guard that was picked up from Ziggs, so he's coming back. And the ultimate is going to force everybody on away. And Ziggs with the Rylai's is going to be able to keep Manway, Reptilian Phantom, and Daxrius at bay in these fights. Oh, and there we see they're trying to make something happen. Those top super minions are going to be pushing onto their towers. More or less, if nobody stops them, bottom tower is going to drop now. That makes it a 7,000 gold difference between these two teams. 8 towers now to 4. The kills, again, still in favor of Modus. That means so very little in this late game stage. It is a team fight that will decide who wins this game. Now, red buff is up. They need to get a red buff on Caitlyn, a blue buff on Ziggs, and then they push. They push bottom. They push mid. They just stay away from top lane at all costs. That's all they need to do. Let the super minions do their work. Now Caitlyn changing on up, getting Ninja Tabby Home Guard version upgraded. Interesting choice as opposed to getting just the Führer boots to keep the distance. Has Home Guard and Ninja Tabby. Interesting play nonetheless. Vi picking up that Soul Shroud, or that Frozen Heart, which is going to make everyone's attack speed even lower when she dives in to the background. That back line slowing everybody. Kayle finishing up, has the Guardian Angel. Pantheon with a Guardian Angel. We see Renekton with the Guardian Angel. Everybody trying to get as tanky as possible and yet survive for as long as they can. There we see top supers pushing on in as Team Weast Coast begins that assault onto the bottom tower. Now both teams have the clear. that pool, the Heartseeker Strike, and Shyvana, basically Flame Breath, is able to clear minions very, very fast. There we see everybody showing on up. Daxtria's taking a little bit low, but he's going to get healed on up. And the poke from Ziggs is going to put a huge chunk of damage onto Remo here, who's going to be backing on away. And every time they step on up, they need to just be putting a couple auto attacks onto the tower, slowly dwindle this on down. Ziggs with extra bonus damage onto towers, as well as Caitlyn, who's got incredibly long range, should be able to poke it on down. There's that inhibitor that is going to be respawning here within the next minute, but there's the engage, kind of from Spirits, trying to force him on away. Here's the tower getting poked on down. Very good push, that's all they need to do, push it down slowly. Now the super minions are going to have to get cleared out of in top. There's that inhibitor respawning. Fansite is going to get dark binded and start taking a couple tower hits. No big deal. Would have been an easy attempt to start putting some tower damage on one of these things that you need to see. Lucian's pushing into top, Pantheon's not there. Put some damage on the tower, but their Spirits going on over, even through the stun. Very nice job, and they're just going to back on away, probably to rotate onto that top inhibitor and try to take it. Baron is up in 41 seconds. Could also drop down some wards all around Baron to make sure that they get the vision if Modus tries for a steal for an engage around that area. Now, at the Baron fight, you have Ziggs and small chokes. You have the opening of Baron as a very small chokehold. Ziggs can lay down a ton of damage there. However, Kayle as well, with that Hurricane, is able to splash damage onto everyone if they group. That's also a nice area for Morgana to lay down the Soul Shackles. So we will see where this next brawl kind of comes out. Shyvana pushing down onto that bottom, or pushing up that bottom lane, so she doesn't have to worry about minions pushing into the base. There's that Baron that is live. We do see that Modus trying to rotate on over, taking to about a quarter HP. There's Fansite getting engaged, Bud doing a great job with the bodies, just full-on sacrificing the body right now to keep away everybody as Pantheon trying to get close enough. There we see Baron is going to get taken down. Daxtrius trying to run on away. There's the ultimate. The Assault and Battery is going to lock down onto Gami, but there's the Soul Shackle, not going to hit onto anyone. The counter engage. Daxtrius now in the middle of 5. He's going to get flash on, forced to flash on away. But there's Fansites with the auto attacks. The damage does proc the GA. Should put the Cupcake down. That's going to lock Daxtrius on up. And this is also going to be a kill now. One more auto attack. That's all it's going to take. Okay, one more auto attack after the block goes on off. There we see as the Luxuria pushing down onto the mid, as well as the whole rest of Team Weast Coast. Spirits with a ton of damage is going to get taken down and healed on up. Al at the same time. There we see Caitlyn with a lot of poke onto the tower, trying to take it on down here. One more assault of the minions, that should do it. They still have another 50 seconds for Pantheon. Instead, they choose to back off and go clear bottom minions.
Team's turret has been destroyed.
Interesting choice. Should have sacrificed the bottom tower for taking the mid tower and or even going top for the inhibitor. Interesting to see them back on away to start playing defense. Everybody, if you take a look at a full build, Soraka the only person who's not at a full build on Team Weast Coast. So she's the only person who should be farming, and the only reason she has that slot is for pink wards. So not even necessarily. She is at a full build. And taking a look at Modus, the only person who's not at a full build is Morgana. And I guess Pantheon, who only has the Brutalizer and Hex Drinker, so he needs to be farming there to try and get it. But we're going to see Manway instantly flashing away out of that situation, realized that he could have got caught. Very close. And I hope this isn't like the last game that we saw. Oh, as we see, Reptilian Phantom is going on to Luxuria, who's trying to get out over the wall. Instead, he satchel charges the wrong direction, forced to use the Hourglass. Pantheon showing on up, and Reptilian Phantom 8-0 and 9, racking up another kill. And this is where Modus can push down to that mid tower, but they need to be very careful if that Renekton chooses to backdoor. Yet, Modus has the option to end the game right now. They have minions. Caitlyn is the only person up, so she's got the Piltover Peacemaker to try and clear. There's a stun going in onto Spirits. They're going to be forced to back away. There's the damage coming down, and I don't lie, that is going to be pushing back Modus here as opposed to them engaging on a fight. There's Manway, who is going to get locked down from the assault and battery. Guardian Angel is going to pop. There's a Shyvana ultimate diving into the backline. Fansight's trying to run away using the Mercurius Crucible. He's going to be able to keep that distance as I Don't Lie now. Back to that front, the calling coming on out, and we see Manway is going to drop to I Don't Lie. And now this is a counter push coming out of Team Weast Coast. 100,000 gold to 90,000 on these two teams. Again, kills differ by mere peanuts. And this is where Team Weast Coast, they need to push down the mid tower, tank it on out, take it, take the inhibitors. They control it right now. There we see Caitlyn auto-attacking it on down as I Don't Lie, taking up some of that damage. They're going to be going onto that inhibitor. They still have 40 seconds for Kale to come on back. That's a great job from Goats Romo. Forcing him on out. There's Reptilian Phantom coming out like a bat out of hell. As back pings and assist me coming out, but there's Daxtrius with the stun onto Spirits. Once again, there's a Soul Shackle that is going to lock down Spirits. She's not going to be able to escape the assault and battery. Turn around onto Rebel. Fansight taken very low. Forced to flash away. Shyvana turning onto Fansights as Morgana. Spirits picking up. Got me. And Daxtrius does not drop. Instead, falls to Spirits as Reptilian Phantom forced to run away now. Goats Remo running for his life as well. Nothing left but the tower. Do they take it? Kale up in 7 seconds. Can they hold it? Kale will have the ultimate. She can't sit there and do a ton of damage. I Don't Lie taking a grip to low, but a nice heal coming out. Soraka is going to save his life, and they're going on to the Nexus now. Reptilian Phantom trying to focus him on off. There's Luxuria is going to get taken down from Manway, but there's Caitlyn dodging around, not getting attacked, and picking up the kill on the Nexus. Victory overall for Team Weast Coast. Omnibus, Modus, so very close. Back and forth game. Great job from both of these teams. Holy cow. Was not expecting a 62-minute game, but nonetheless, both these teams definitely showing us what they have. They're able, they know laning phase. They know team fight phase. They are confident with each other. The communication is phenomenal. Heals left and right. Clutch times to teleport. Everything played very, very well by both of these teams. And of course, Team Weast Coast, congratulations on the victory. Now making them 2-1 in the Pulsefire Gaming's LCS tournament here. And that finally makes Omnibus Modus 2-1. They're trying for that 3-0, but still very close. If we take a look at the breakdown and specific points in the game, honestly, Team Weast Coast, all they had to do was push down top inhibitor, let those super minions show, push down to a mid tower. Countless times they could have walked up, tanking a tower shot. Caitlyn gets 2 or 3 auto attacks down, dwindles it down. Ziggs gets 1 auto when his passive's up. They push down towers so incredibly fast. 3 times in that game, they chose to back away, continue to farm, and then push. Overall, they picked up the victory, and it's their play style. But everybody did their job on either team. Reptilian Phantom still, though, star player, as he never got to taste the bitter, sweet taste of death. 8-0-9. That was the biggest problem, was the fact that no one could touch Shyvana. She was diving into the back, doing work, and then running away. Still, great job from both these teams. I thank you guys for watching. Give me a moment. I'm going to start setting up the next game,